show up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the giant conversation that is Topic Talks. I'm your host, Aaron Klingsmith. I have a special guest joining me today. He's actually somebody who's been on here before and kind of helped me start this show. Say hello to Zach Stone. Hey, Zach, how are you?
Hey guys, how you guys doing? I know you guys all miss me.
Unfortunately, Zach's schedule has kind of changed, so his availability for this day and time slot is not usually that available to make it where he needs to. So we're gonna try to see if he can start calling in a lot more. Right, Zach?
Yeah,
So we
all
got a
that with all the fun.
We got a full show for all of you. We've got two topics, and we've got our very first Zach's Corner, so that'll be very exciting. And if we have time and we can squeeze it in, we'll talk a little bit about movies. Sound good, Zach?
Oh yeah, sounds perfectly fun.
Okay, let's get kicked off with the first topic. Um, so I was looking on NBC News, and I found that the Apple CEO addressed the FBI in a new product launch. So I've got a little clip here that I'm going to play for
Oh,
you, okay?
already.
We need to decide as a nation how much power the government should have over our data and over our privacy. We did not expect to be in this position at odds with our own government, but we believe strongly that we have a responsibility to help you protect your data and protect your privacy. We owe it to our customers and we owe it to our country. This is an issue that impacts all of us, and we will not shrink from this responsibility.
Those were some very serious words, and I kind of agree. One of the problems is the government is trying to force um, Apple to write a piece of software that would basically open it up to any hacker or criminal or the FBI if they just want to snoop into your phone. Your phone will no longer be as secure as it is now. And I feel like that would basically bankrupt Apple because they would lose, hackers could get informations off of our phones and stuff like that. And I just don't think it's right for the FBI and the government to say, we want to access this. But at the same time, the phone that they want to access is for the attempted bombing by, let me see if I can find his name. It is Saeed Farouk. I'm pretty sure is the name. Yep, Saeed Farouk. They want to try to get into his phone to see if they can get any information on the bombings or any future bombings or anything like that. But Apple is saying if we write this software, it is not going to just unlock his phone. It will give them access to everybody's phone because of how the software is written. He said it's like a virus for their software. The code is like a virus for their software. And so it's kind of like a double-edged sword, but he's sticking his ground. And I mean, I think that was very bold of him, but maybe it might have been something that he had to do. Did you get a chance to hear that, Zach?
Yeah, I got to hear all of that. I kind of agree. Like, it's very bold of him to state that. Uh, really bold. What do you think, in your opinion, he's doing? Do you think you approve of that?
Yeah,
Do you think you?
I mean, I'm a huge Android guy, but I know a lot of people who have iPhones, and I know a lot of people who would stop, like they would switch over if something like that happened because I mean, you saw what happened with, how hackers got a hold of celebrity photos off their computers. What's
Oh
not to
yeah,
say that they're going to do the same thing with iPhones if they write this code.
yeah, and that's just not even the cloud. That's just like with iPhone in general, like anything saved.
Yeah, it's not
So
the cloud.
I
It's on the phone. They want to access the phone itself because it is password protected and it wants a they want to be able to get into it and get information off of it.
oh yeah, like yeah, and privacy is very like important. And people need their privacy.
Yeah, so I just want to give him a little applause.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a little applause, little clap, little Zach clap.
Because that was just I feel like it was bold of him, but it was a move that he had to make. And right now
Yeah,
Apple is resisting the government, but you know what? It's something that might need to be done because if they can say, if they can go to a company like Apple and say, "We want to access this phone." Well, if it's going to give you access to all the phones, what's to stop the government from going in and saying, "Oh, well, we can now access this phone and we have this software. We're going to, just kind of look at everybody's phones." So, I mean,
yeah, that's invasion of privacy.
it in a massive scale. It's not just about this
Yeah,
one phone. If it was, they would be more than happy. I actually watched an interview with where the CEO of Apple was explaining why he would not do this, why he wouldn't give them write this code. And I was listening to it and it made sense. There's a lot of CEOs that'll go on and they'll be asked about it and say, "Oh, well, this is my reasoning." I'll go, "Okay, that's not a good, that's not a reason for that to happen." But in this case, I could completely understand what his stance was on this. He's like, "No, I'm not going to do this. This would destroy Apple altogether."
and I can understand it too, because that would bring Apple down to the ground and make everyone run either to Sprint, Android, Samsung, and like Apple will be destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't like the software. I just don't like how it's set up, but I don't really have anything personal against it. You know what I mean? I don't want it to go away because
Yeah,
the evolution of Android is based on the evolution of Apple. They compete so well that, Android works so hard, like Samsung and LG and Microsoft. They're all trying to get into this, like it's a phone race, phone and tablets, and because that's kind of the new computer, and they're all trying to get into this, and it just it would drop Apple right out, and we all know Microsoft isn't really taking off that well, but it's Android and Apple are the two major competitors.
well, it's not only that too. I mean, Apple is a major company with computers too, and iPads, especially Apple Macs. Many professional businesses have like Apple Macs and tablets, and that could ruin that too.
Well, yeah, I haven't even heard if you can get onto iPads or anything else with the software, which I mean, granted, it sucks that, if you know somebody who's passed away that you can't get some of their information off their tablet or their phone, but there I don't know, it's the fact that it would open it up to hackers and I mean, look what hackers can accomplish. If you wrote this piece of software, if they are able to hack Apple's computers, they'd be able to get that software in a heartbeat. Or hack the government's
Exactly.
computers. I mean, especially if the government has this software. It just to me I completely understand why he's doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just mind blowing, and also that it's being, the government keeps pushing and pushing, and the fact that Apple as a whole is taking a stand and saying no, we're not going to write this. We've worked so hard to build the code that is, you know, the way the iPhone works. They've worked so hard to perfect the process and the operating system and how it works. It's like throwing, it's making a virus for it essentially. It's going to break down their coding for all this hard work that they've done over all the years. And I mean, I feel like Steve Jobs, if that were to happen, he would roll over in his grave because it's ruining. It would ruin exactly what he made and the vision he had.
Exactly, and it's just a contradict of what he did for Apple.
Yeah, like I said, I love what he's doing. I like. Uh, I just like the cause. Like I said, there's a lot of people who go, "Well, we need to know what's on those phones." You don't think the government knows more than what's on that iPhone? And I also heard, and this is just what I heard on the news at one point, is that the officers did something to lock them out of the phone. So I mean, come on now, if it's that too, like if they lock themselves out of the phone, that's their fault. You
Yeah.
know, it's they can't fix their screw ups. Zach, is there anything else you want to say?
I basically voiced my opinion about this topic right here. I'm glad that this guy had said something about it, and because privacy is very important, and the government shouldn't get into that.
Yeah, Tim Cook
So
is the
yeah,
CEO's name, and he's just like I said. I completely understand why he's doing it and why he's standing up. But this is also, like I said, it's not necessarily about one phone or the fact that it would do that to Apple. It's also the fact that if the government can come in and rule and say, write this code and give it to us so we can access this phone, but it also accesses everybody else's phone. What's to say they can't go to Android providers like Samsung and say, write a code. I want to be able to get into these phones. And then before you know it, I mean, you could get pulled over and they'd be able to check what's on your phone. I don't know. I don't understand it. Well, I do. I mean, I completely understand why they want to do it, but is it really worth making a huge company and a major part of our society crumble?
exactly. Me personally, it's not even worth it.
It's not. I, Also, I just want to add for everybody that's listening, if there is a delay or if you hear a beep, that is my phone because Zach isn't able to be here. We're using my phone to be able to talk, and there's a little bit of a delay, so I apologize for that.
I apologize, guys.
Anyway, yeah, Time Magazine wrote a great article. I got mine from NBC News, but I'm looking at a Time article, and it's the title of it is Inside Apple CEO Tim Cook's Fight with the FBI. In an exclusive interview with Time, Cook discusses your privacy, America's security, and what's at stake in the battle over encryption. So, and again, this is for the massacre of San Bernardino in California. It's the guy who was believed to be in charge of that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, I can't get over that. Okay, so I think we've touched all about that topic that we can. If you guys want to read a little bit more about it, I will drop that NBC News link in the comments below when I'm done, and all the different places that this is broadcasting to.
And it's an interesting.
It's what?
I said it's an interesting link.
It is. So, on to our next topic. This is one that I saw, and I don't even know how to feel about this. This is kind of another story that I don't know how to feel about it. A man was banned from Amazon for returning 37 items. Now, I think that's outrageous, especially when you hear more of the details.
I find it funny and outrageous.
Oh, it's hilarious.
A lot of people can. It's because a lot of people can relate to it, and if you're returning that many stuff, I don't think you should be banned. I mean, I think you should get a deal.
Well, especially with how much he ordered. Greg Nelson, a computer programmer.
Items.
It was 37 items out of 343. So he ordered
Jesus,
343 items and returned 37 of them, and his Amazon account got deleted.
man.
Now, the name of this guy, his name is Greg Nelson. He's a computer programmer, and he just realized, or he saw one day that his Amazon account was canceled. And for returning the 37 items out of 333, he was quoted saying, "I could understand if there was evidence that somehow I tried to abuse the system, but I haven't." He also claims that all of the returns were justified, but Amazon UK simply axed his account, deleted any remaining gift card balances he had, cut off his Prime streaming, and is being able to download on Kindle.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't deserve this. I mean, with all the stuff that he bought from them, which gets them money, they had to do it because he returned only 37, only 1/8 of the fraction of that.
But we don't know
Stupid.
what it was. Maybe he is trying to. Maybe he does this very often. This is just his side of
Maybe.
the story.
That's true. Yeah, I can understand that then.
I mean, as an
But it's
Amazon
like,
Prime user myself, I use my girlfriend's Amazon Prime because it's a lot simpler, and she's paying for it, and everything kind of goes through her. It's a lot easier, but she gives me access to the streaming and all that stuff. And I mean, to lose that, and especially if you're paying for it, because you pay for Prime. It's not like it's a free service and then they're like, "Oh, we banish you." No, he paid for this service. And the fact that he
did
can't
he pay for
return
also
37.
wipe out his gift?
Say that again, you're cutting in and out.
Sorry, did it wipe out his gift cards as well?
Yeah, his gift card balances. So any balance he had from any gift card that he had entered into his account got deleted.
That's just stupid. At least give him some of the gift card money. I don't know.
Now, it says, questioned by The Guardian, an Amazon spokesperson said, "In a tiny fraction of cases, we are forced to close accounts where we identify extreme account abuse. So what constitutes extreme? Amazon UK allows consumers to return an items within 30 days, but refuses to say how many returns are too many." So, and they're giving a little bit of advice to consumers. Keep your return rate under 10% at a threshold that may explain Nelson's canceled account. I don't know. I feel like the fact that he ordered 300 and what was it? 334?
Yeah, no, 340.
343 items, and he returned 37. I feel like
That's
as
like
long as he gets, maybe he found a better price somewhere else, or maybe he got it and it was broke. You don't know, like, because he can't order a part, have it come in broke, and then just have to wait for another part. But on the other side, we don't know how often he's done things like this. You know what I mean? We don't.
Yeah, I totally understand.
We don't really know the outcome of what the like we don't know his side and we don't know Amazon's side. All we know is that there's a lot of cases of people abusing their accounts. And it sucks that people abuse their accounts like that, because for the rest of us that like to enjoy our Amazon and aren't trying to abuse our accounts, they have to set this rule in place for those people that are trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it just ruins it for the rest of us.
It does. So I don't know. It's one of those. It also says a lot of individuals will use a spouse or family member's account after their account is closed. But why wouldn't you? I mean, that's
Yeah, exactly.
well, and I use my girlfriend's because she pays for the Amazon Prime. She lets me use it. She doesn't care. And usually, I'll order stuff for her. She'll order stuff for me. It's one of those things where my account didn't have Prime. It wasn't anything special. I haven't used it in a while, so it either has been deleted or I'm gonna delete it. But it's one of those things where it makes it a lot easier when I can order something on Amazon and get the free 2-day shipping. But then you also have the individuals that will just take advantage of that, and I just don't think that's fair to the rest of us.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair at all.
Any other position on that, Zach?
Not really. Just not fair. I mean, you don't know that much of what really happened with the guy. I mean, like just with what he says. I mean, personally, I think it might be unfair because I believe that this guy might be a little bit broke or something, and they just cut him off. But you never know.
Yeah, I mean, people surprise you all the time with what the real story is. I I don't know.
But yeah.
But 37 items, I can't get over that. 37 items out of 334. Could you imagine how much money he made on that deal? Or how much money they made? And then you sent back so much, but how much business will they lose in the future?
Exactly.
So it's just I don't understand it. I don't get it. So Zach, I think it's almost time for you to do Zach's corner. How long do you think it's going to take you to do that?
I don't know. It seems like it's a short story. I can do a little. I can finish up the rest of the time with it.
Okay, well you've got 7 minutes. So everybody, here is Zach with the very first Zach's corner.
All right, with Zach's Corner, I'm just going to explain a little bit. Zach's Corner is, because I'm multi-talented, it's where I can use my talents. I'll read maybe some art stories, maybe even do a little monologue of different voices with my impressions and whatnot. And Aaron found a funny story that he wants me to read in one of my different voices. So here's a little story from Zach's Corner called What Starts with F and Ends with K. A first-grade teacher, Mrs. Brooks, was having trouble with one of her students. The teacher asked Harry, "What's your problem?" Harry answered, "I'm too smart for the first grade. My sister's in the third grade, and I'm smarter than she is. I think I should be in the third grade, too." Miss Brooks had enough. She took Harry to the principal's office. While Harry waited in the outer office, the teacher explained to the principal what the situation was. The principal told Miss Brooks he would give the boy a test. If he failed to answer any questions, he was to go back to first grade and behave. She agreed. Harry was brought in and was told the conditions and were explained, and he agreed to take the test. The principal asked, "What's 3 times 3?" Harry said, 9. Principal asked, "What's 6 times 6?" Harry said, 36. And so it went with every question the principal thought that a third grader would know. The principal looks at Miss Brooks and tells her, "I think Harry can go to third grade." Miss Brooks says to the principals, "Let me ask him some questions." The principal and Harry both agreed. Miss Brooks asked, "What does a crow have 4 that I have only 2 of?" Or not crow, sorry, cow. Harry says, "Legs." Miss Brooks says, "What's in your pants that you have but I do not have?" The principal wondered why she would ask this question, and Harry replied, "Pockets." Miss Brooks says, "What does a dog do that a man steps into?" And then Harry says, pants. The principal sat forward with his mouth hanging wide open. Miss Brooks said, what goes in hard and pink, then comes out soft and sticky? Sticky. The principal's eyes opened really wide, and before he could stop the answer, Harry replied, bubble gum. Miss Brooks says, what does a man do standing up? A woman does sitting down, and a dog does on 3 legs. Harry says, shakes hands. Principal was trembling. Miss Brooks finally said the last question. What starts with an F and ends in a K? And the principal had a lot of heat and excitement. Harry answered, fire truck. The principal breathed and sighed of relief and told the teacher, put Harry in 5th grade. I got last 6 questions wrong. And that's Zach's Corner's story of what starts with F and ends with K.
Zach, that was an awesome joke. And I got to tell you, I learned about this joke on StumbleUpon. I read it and I could not stop laughing for the first 10 minutes of the joke. Because like...
Oh, yeah,
What?
It was hilarious. I started laughing once you sent it to me.
Yeah, it was something, and I said, you know what would be even funnier than this joke by itself? And I said, Zach reading it in some weird voice. And I think you did a really good job.
I lost the voices at the end of it. I'm not going to lie. But because I just started giggling while reading it. But, like, pretty soon, if I'm, like, with you in the booth, I'll do, like, some funny shows for Zach's Corner where I'll do prank calls in different voices.
That'd be kind of cool. Well, everybody, let's give a round of applause to Zach, shall we?
Yay!
That was kind of crappy. I'm sorry. I'm messing with wires over here while Zach is entertaining everybody.
Yeah.
Let's try that again.
Alrighty.
There, I got it. Look at me. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was Zach's Corner, everybody. We got through that faster than I thought I would. So if you have any topics that you would like us to talk about, let us know. Shoot me a Facebook message or shoot Zach one. We'll be sure to do some research real quick. And we'll do some of that. If not, we will be talking about movies in the second half of the show. We'll talk about some upcoming movies, some movies that are in theaters right now that we would like to see, and maybe Zach might do some more funny voices. Who knows? The only way you'll be able to find out is in the next half. Anything you'd like to add before we end this first half?
I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys really soon for the second part. That's basically it.
Okay, well, on that note, for those of you who won't be able to make it back for the second half, I'm Aaron Klingy-Smith.
I'm Zach Stone.
And this is Topic Talks.